Today, Nigeria uses a tripartite system of criminal law and justice: the criminal code based on English common law and legal practice, the penal code based on Maliki law and a Muslim system of law and justice, and customary law based on the customs and traditions of the people. At the book launch titled Police and Administration of Criminal Justice in Nigeria, Contemporary Evaluation, authored by ACP Abuja, currently the Commanding Officer Squadron 25, Police Officers, Police Mobile Force, Force Headquarters Annex, Abuja. The IGP Egbetokun, who was ably represented, said the police was encouraging the officers to write books both for science, law, security and other areas of endeavors. IGP Egbetokun, who was the chief host at the book launch, emphasized on the importance of documentation and book writing in the Nigerian police force.
What we call the coming of colonialists to relate with us in our policing system. Before the advent of the colonialists, the reviewer and the author of the book made observation that there were policing systems in this part of the world, and that is the sub-Saharan Africa. But as we all know, in historical parlance, sometimes from the fathers of history like Herodotus, we say civilization, Western civilization, and probably history, policing, whatever, started from the East and ended in the West. Regarding Africa, sub-Saharan Africa, there's nothing to write home about. One of the reasons for this is that there was no documentation. In other words, there was no writing. If there were no writing, there would be no evidence that you've been having a kind of, civilization, culture, or whatever. But in reality, there was policing, which is traditional. Against this backdrop, I want to let us know what we call the oral tradition. The name Socrates is familiar to a couple of us. We've heard the name, even modern footballers, a Brazilian footballer has the name Socrates. But Socrates is popularized by a philosopher in ancient Greece. What made him popular? His ideals, his thoughts, his thinking. He's a philosopher king. But one thing I want us to know is that Socrates did not drop or write any of his ideas. Rather, it was a scholar, Plato, who documented his interactions with Socrates. The ideals of Socrates today, as written by Plato, are things spread worldwide. So if these things were not documented, we would have presumed that Socrates did not exist and had nothing to offer, just like they presumed that Sub-Saharan Africa had nothing to offer. Against this backdrop, I want to acknowledge the work of the author for documenting his experience in the police, which is going to benefit posterity. I'm saying this because we have retired police officers who will tell you, when I was a police officer, I had this experience, I had that experience. As they finish talking, that is the end. There's no place to lay hand on it, to read their books, to make reference to their experiences, because they were not documented. Against this backdrop, I want to once again thank the author for the effort he has made, and this work shall not only be launched here today, we're going to study it, learn from it, and I like wine anyway, no problem, don't cover it.
Speaking, the Minister of Labour and Employment eulogizes the author for writing a book on criminal justice, describing him as an hard-working police officer, and his level of intelligence is exceptional.
When you are going to tribunal, he will tell you which lawyer to take. So for me, an alternative to this too was for him to work and write another book. I will give you another title, but this is fantastic. Maybe you write about politics and then the police perspective of politics. Let it be another edition. I'm sure you have a lot of people that will support you. Professor Dagas is here, Professor, our brother, friend Alubo is here. Bring it out. That will be your experience. But as a policeman, he was a very fine police officer. At times of difficulties in Plateau State, you know, when Plateau was an exhibition center, I'm sure Professor Dagas will tell you, in terms of any other infringement of the Constitution, it was all exhibited in Plateau State.
The book launching is coming at a critical time When the law enforcement agencies, especially the police officers, are faced with the ordeals of administration of criminal justice in Nigeria.
This book will contribute to the existing body of knowledge and reposition the police for professional excellence in the administration of criminal justice. Once again, I join you all to help the police to police you better and ensure speedy and adequate dispensation of criminal justice in Nigeria, as only the police and other stakeholders cannot execute administration of criminal justice without help of the society. I thank you all and pray that the Almighty God will continuously guide, protect you, and give you the vision to serve the nation diligently.
One of the book reviewer commended the author for a job well done. He called on everyone who wished to know the criminal justice administration in police, values and lifestyle of police personnel to carefully read all the 10 chapters of the book.
Livingston Membere, Amadi, and Meriole, and you'd see in extenso, for example, he quoted Meriole on page 364, and dealt with other powers of the police, powers of arrest, power to grant bail, power of the police to prevent breach of peace, and so on and so forth. On investigation, learned author bemoaned the dearth of laboratories and forensic laboratories, as even the few available are not functional, or the equipment are broken down, or there is paucity of funds, or there is absence of reagents or chemists. Of course, author also looked at the institution of criminal proceedings, which the ACJ in section 105 and 106, dealt with extensively. Of course, once the ACJ debuted and they said, oh, the police could no longer prosecute, there was a lot of hulabalo over the country. But of course, some states have decided that, look, despite the provisions of the federal law, they will not go along with it. Plateau, for example, Nasarawa State, for example, and these are issues that the author also discussed, in this book. But of course, in chapter 8 specifically, author engaged the pertinent areas of prosecution of criminal cases by the police in Nigerian courts and use of forensic and biometric evidence and the constraints of the police. It again, in greater detail, punctiliously discussed the use of forensic evidence and biometric evidence by the police in criminal justice administration. The chapter, most significantly on page 253, engaged the topical issue of constraint by the Nigerian police in criminal justice administration. It's a topic that will not dissipate easily. The police continue to grapple with all manner of challenges that have made performance of their duties foolhardy. Funding is one, insecurity is another.
He discussed the ACJA, Administration of Criminal Justice Act, and then the ACJL as well. And then the book also talked about the role of the Nigerian police in the administration of criminal justice. And it describes the Nigerian police as a gateway in the distribution of criminal justice. Reason being that it starts from all the pre-steps to trial. So you talk about the arrest, the search, the then taking of confessional statements, and all, which is the core duties of the Nigerian police. So that book also dealt on that.
And of course, the police should stand out as an arm that should appreciate you most. We must appreciate intellect. We must appreciate productivity. And of course, we must appreciate initiative. And I pray and hope that people in the police would emulate, especially the younger ones, that is not about just going to the office and doing other things and spending your evenings either partying or doing other things that are not productive and cannot contribute to the value of your life and the value of your profession, and of course the value to your dear country, Nigeria. We can see him, despite his age, despite his very, very tight and busy schedule, is able to sit down and document this very, very worthy record for posterity for the police force.
ACP Abuja has attended over 11 police training courses, both within and outside Nigeria, including advanced training courses in various fields of policing. He was ADC to the former Executive Governor of Plateau State, Chief Joshua Dariye, Directing Staff at the prestigious Police Staff College, Jos, Plateau State. The author was among the array of other positions held in the police force and currently the Commanding Officer, 25 Police Mobile Force Headquarters Annex, Abuja. In course 1996, he was Best Graduating Cadet in Character and Knowledge. The police have remained an inescapable and inseparable component of the administration of criminal justice. Arguably, it is the most or the next important organ of criminal administration, given the profundity of its role in arrest, search, investigation, and even trial by lay and police legal practitioners. Olayemi Eson, for Spy TV.